Curtis Nelson is a player who has a huge history at Derby County, being a part of the team which secured promotion from League One by finishing second behind Pompey just by a fair few points. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Curtis Nelson over the course of this upcoming season upon the return from his ACL injury, but does that mean he's going to get a new contract at Derby County? Now, in this video, we're going to discuss the contract situation, a potential option clause that is in his contract, and whether John Eustace will actually use him when he is back fit. Now, obviously, that is going to be a long conversation, so if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Make sure you check out NordVPN, CD keys, and kitbag in the description. CD keys will be named Loaded now after a rebrand, and that will be linked down in the description, but as of right now, it is still named CD keys. Now, shall we get into talking all about Curtis Nelson and whether he will sign a brand new contract with Derby County and be a player under John Eustace? Head on over to raffle.com, linked down in the description, so that you can get yourselves into the raffle to win 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Tickets start at just £1 per ticket, with a range of different bundles available to you, where you can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets to get 10 free, and 15 tickets for 15 free. All you need to do is head on over to Derby County's website, get yourself a fan ID. So if you are the winner of this raffle, I can send you over those tickets, and all you have to do is enter a question just a little bit about Jamie Carragher and what club he played at for his entire career. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to raffle.com, linked in the description, so that you can join the raffle for 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Now, obviously, Curtis Nelson signed a contract extension just under 12 months ago, and it was very, very interesting to see Derby County make that deal for a player who had been essentially ever present in the league. Now, the deal wasn't the problem, but the problem came just a few days later when Curtis Nelson went on to pick up an ACL injury, which kept him out for the following 9 months. Now, for me, Curtis Nelson is a very, very good defender, but obviously for Derby County, they're looking to get to that next level. And do I believe that Curtis Nelson is the player to take them there? In my personal opinion, I do not think so. Now, I know a lot of people will disagree, and that is completely fine. That is what football is all about. It's all about opinions. Now, for me, Curtis Nelson is a very, very good defender. But is he the type of defender that you want in the Championship if you're pushing for promotion? In my personal opinion, the answer to that question is unfortunately no. I don't think Curtis Nelson is that level of defender. I think he's a very good League One defender. I think he's sort of bottom end of the Championship. And if Derby County are going to keep getting better and better and better, it's going to come with the introduction of players like Sondre Langas and Matt Clark, and going and getting players of that similar ilk as they move forward. Now, obviously, Derby County have spent huge sums of money this summer on the likes of Patrick Adjumang, Max Johnston, and Lewis Travis, but does that mean that Curtis Nelson sort of loses his place in that defensive position? Now, ultimately, with this contract, he could stay for another year, but I'm not entirely sure how this option is going to work. Is it an option where he has the say, or is it an option where the club makes the decision? For me, if I'm John Eustace, I am not taking up that option because I just don't believe it's the right thing to do. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a starter, and ultimately I think if you give Jake Rooney the opportunity, I don't think Curtis Nelson is going to be a bench player either. And that's obviously a massive conversation for the likes of John Eustace and his coaching staff to have over the course of the next 3 or 4 months as we get into that period where you start talking about contract extensions, you start talking about the opportunities that arise in the free transfer market in the summer, and even potential deals that could happen in January. And do you look to move Curtis Nelson on? Do you look to go and pick up somebody else to replace him? And in my opinion, at Derby County, he has already been replaced by the introduction of Danny Bart, the signing of Sondre Langas, obviously Matt Clark extending his contract as well, and even the introduction of Dion Sanderson. But it is a very, very difficult discussion to have because Curtis Nelson has a lot of help at Derby County when it comes to the fan status. He is a very, very liked player among the fan base, similar to that of Ebo Adams and Kane Wilson. And I think sometimes those decisions that are made about those lesser players are made with sentiment for me. And I don't necessarily think that sentiment is the right thing to do here. Now, don't get me wrong, there's only one player in this club who I think deserves a sentimental contract, and that is Craig Forsyth. Forsyth. So for me, looking at Curtis Nelson, and obviously he still is yet to play as I'm recording this video, and probably isn't going to be available in training, etc. for the next month or so, I'll sort of look at it and go, where are Derby County going from here? And does Curtis Nelson fit the plans? And in my personal opinion, I don't think he does. I don't think he's in that area of what John Eustace wants. I don't think the conversation regarding sort of Curtis Nelson moving forward is where Derby County need to go. I think Curtis Nelson should be looking for a League One loan in January, in my personal opinion, where he goes and plays the second half of the season, gets himself game time, gets himself minutes, and opens up that door for a good move in the summer when we let him go on a free transfer. Now, obviously, Curtis Nelson is a great player. He has good ability, but is it that ability that Derby County want? In my personal opinion, absolutely not. Derby County are looking to get better and better, and in my opinion, Curtis Nelson is just a step back to the past, and the past that is not necessarily the greatest of performances, because ultimately, when Curtis Nelson was in the side last year, Derby County weren't in a great position. Now, there's a lot of work still to do for John Eustace, especially in this discussion in regards to contracts and transfers and things like that, and obviously, there's been a lot of moves this summer, which sort of have bolstered Derby County's squad, but not necessarily in all the right areas. As of recording this video on the 27th of August, we're still yet to bring in any wingers, and ultimately there's certain players, in my opinion, who should be heading out of the club across the course of the next few days. But as you're watching this, the transfer window will be closed, and we will know whether the likes of Ben Osborne, the likes of Dejan Brown and Jake Rooney are staying at the club until January. But in my opinion, there's a lot of discussions to be had around Curtis Nelson, around Kane Wilson, Ben Osborne, who's obviously in the final year of his contract, Callum Elder, you look at Caden Jackson and Joe Ward as well, all players who are heading into that final year and really need solid discussions about where they're going to head over the course of the next few months. Now, for me, it is going to be interesting to see what does happen, and it is going to be interesting to see how John Eustace does handle the situation in regards to that of Curtis Nelson. Do I think it's one that's going to go swimmingly and perfect for the Derby County fan base? Not entirely. I think it's going to be one where Derby County move on a high caliber player, which ultimately isn't necessarily the caliber that Derby County are looking for, as we're looking to take that next step. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments, and if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. If you have not done so already as well, go into the description, check out Kitbag for your sporting goods, NordVPN to get your hands on a VPN, and CD Keys for all your gaming goods. CD Keys will now be named Loaded. It will be linked in the description anyway, but you can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. It's one way to get yourself a product and support the channel indirectly. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye bye. Head on over to raffle.com, linked down in the description, so that you can get yourselves into the raffle to win 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Tickets start at just £1 per ticket, with a range of different bundles available to you, where you can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets to get 10 free, and 15 tickets for 15 free. All you need to do is head on over to Derby County's website, get yourself a fan ID. So if you are the winner of this raffle, I can send you over those tickets, and all you have to do is enter a question just a little bit about Jamie Carragher and what club he played at for his entire career. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to raffle.com, linked in the description, so that you can join the raffle for 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice.